Come on, you're right.
No, you're not. Not at all. Well, I see that point.
I can check it for you.
There it is. All right. Got a good group today. Smiling faces. I usually get the frumpy, rainy day, miserable kind of, but that's good. All right. I'm Dr. Tomasetti. And thank you.
It's just hard. Yeah.
There we go. My voice gets tight from time to time, so if you need me to repeat something, let me know. I've got the same vocal thing as Robert Kennedy Jr., so anyway, love or hate him, we do the same thing. Okay, so we'll work through that together. So, who's here to learn about neuropathy? You don't learn about neuropathy. Okay, yeah, everybody's good. We do finally another workshop, so just making sure you're all here for the same reason today. Ready to jump in?
Yes.
Here we go. So, let me back up 1 second. We commonly get to be part of some really cool stories. I'm going to share some of those along the way, and we see things like this. Before I was in pain, 2 treatments down, I have some balance. Most of the pain on my right side is gone, and my left side is improving. These are things, who's heard that you have to live with neuropathy? It doesn't change, you can't make it any better. You've heard that before. You got to learn to live with it. So these are stories of people that were in your chair not long ago, on the other side of this, actually getting improvement. So hang in there, we're going to show you what happens. This is what keeps me busy when I'm not here. I got 6 kiddos and an amazing wife, and let's be honest, she keeps the whole show running, but that's my crew. And my goal for you today is this. I want to show you natural ways to take care of neuropathy, where you can improve 50 to 100%, even when other systems or treatments have failed. Okay? Who's thinking, yeah, right, baloney, little skeptical? Not everybody's like, yeah, let's do this.
That's what we're
Love it. Okay, cool. Let's jump in. Neuropathy definitions are helpful, right? So what is neuropathy? Peripheral neuropathy is anything that's outside of your central nervous system. Central is brain and spine. Everything else, arms, legs, face, is all peripheral. So it's a wide variety of what can happen. Bottom line is it's damage to those nerves that are outside of the brain and spine. Now, you're all smart people. Where do those peripheral connect to? Right? Like your arm nerve connects to your brain and spine. So you have to treat the whole thing to win, but typically you feel the symptom in the extremities. Is that fair? That's why they call it that. Of course, yeah, as many pictures you want. Yep. Good thing I got my sources right on there for you too.
There's a lot of information, so you're good. Just be careful here, okay?
Sorry, everybody.
That's all right.
English body.
Got it. Awesome. So, 20 million people in the US are dealing with this. And these are old numbers. Easily 10 years old by now. And that's one person in every, 1 in 6 people over age 40 are dealing with neuropathy. That's a lot of people. So it's really becoming, unfortunately, a whole lot more common. We'll talk about why that is in a minute. But first, let's talk about treatment options. What have they given you? First of all, who's been diagnosed with neuropathy so far? Who knows that they got that problem. Okay, and so others are learning or figuring out if that's what's going on.
No, I'm just.
You're supporting
I'm just
James.
supporting.
Okay, love that. The support is giant. That is so helpful. Thanks for being here for that. That's helpful to know. I got to craft what we're talking about today a little better. So, what options have they given you so far for treatment?
Well, I really don't have any options because I'm not really being treated for it.
Okay, so yeah, nothing yet.
I know I have neuropathy
Oh, okay,
because I know what neuropathy is just from reading about it.
got it.
And
You're like, oh, that's me.
my doctor has neuropathy, so
Okay.
we talk about it, but he's not treating me for it.
Wow. Okay, got it.
So I'm just trying to find out what I can do to,
Yeah.
if nothing, lessen it right now.
Yeah. Right.
I had a back operation, and since then I've had troubles with different, nerves,
Mm-hmm.
my legs and my feet, everything. So, yeah, so I'm not really being treated for it,
Okay.
but I read about it, and I know I have it. Let's
Got
put
it.
it that way.
Yeah.
And I just call it puffy feet.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Anybody else have options they've been given?
Mine is about numbness
Uh huh.
on my right and left arms
Mm-hmm.
and tickling in my under my feet.
In the feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, also numbness.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I did some injection in my because they think that is from the nerve, central nerve,
Mm-hmm.
and they give to me the injection. When they do the injection, it passed for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to redo again, and they propose to me to do the operation now.
Oh.
I don't know.
So it sounds like you're trying to avoid surgery. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
It's very, very difficult.
Uh-huh.
But need to
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, that's like if it's a mechanical issue creating nerve pressure, then surgery might be a late stage option for that, right? Most of the time it's metabolic. That's a big component of it. And common treatments are medication. Gabapentin is probably most common. Neurontin, Cymbalta, these are all typically off-label medications. Meaning they're originally designed for seizures, and they're using them for neuropathy relief. Okay. So yeah, basically prescription drugs, and then surgery. Like if the feet continue to go numb and you lose enough blood flow there, and the tissue dies, and amputation can be end stage of where this goes. Yeah, really. I had a gal sitting right where Jean was a couple months ago. She had already lost 3 toes on one foot, and we're trying to save the other side. Yeah, so I'm not a doomsdayer. I don't like to spend all but you do need to be aware that if it's left alone or undertreated, that's where it can end up. And if you're type 2 diabetic, you're in a higher risk category for that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's a big deal. But basically, they don't have any standard options for treatment. They just got to go watch and wait, increase medications. It's basically symptom management, right? Until you got to do something serious and drastic. So that's the path they typically go on. And you guys are all here because you're tired of symptom management, right? So let's actually solve the problem. Yeah. So let's talk about that. What I commonly see though is like you're mentioning, is it Loya? Okay, awesome. So like if your feet are numb and tingly, and maybe some of you can relate to that too, loss of mobility, fear of falling is always in the back of your mind. You stop traveling, hobbies aren't fun anymore, things go by the wayside, you just kind of stop living. This was my anniversary trip a few summers ago, up to the Finger Lakes, a lot of steps, and I'm like, oh man, most of my patients would hate to try to attempt this, but they miss all the sights on the other side. It just kind of like was a little moment of me going like, this is what we do this. This is helping people get their life back and get some more quality back in their life. So that kind of resonates. You stop living a little bit. Yeah. So there's a better way to do this, right? And so let's show you what that looks like. But I want to tell you a little bit of my backstory on this. Like, why do we even do these workshops? I never went through school and said, "Oh, I want to be a neuropathy expert." So, anybody else learn through the school of hard knocks? You learn the hard way? Yeah. So that's been my journey with this one. And has anybody heard the story about my dad? We share that one with me. That's kind of what got me standing here today. So, my dad was in Vietnam, served 2 tours, and we had Agent Orange exposure and had all the things that go with war trauma. He was also a paratrooper and jumped out of great, perfectly good airplanes, as he would say, and it does a number on your back too. So he had back and other neuropathy, blood sugar problems too. So there's all these things kind of stacked against his nerves. But he's also a really tough guy, right? He wouldn't tell you how bad it really was. Didn't want to, didn't want you to worry. Still looking out for people, right? And part of that was our neighbor was having a litter of puppies, and he had an extra dog crate in the upstairs, and was going to help out the neighbor, bring it down to the well-being box. And so we went up to the upper story, and he got the kennel, and he's coming down the steps. He lost his balance, and he fell, and he ended up breaking his neck. Yeah, and he was on the stairs for over an hour because we thought he was going to help the neighbor out, and so he's out in the garage and cleaning up. My mom called, she's like, "Hey, your dad fell," and took him to the hospital, but she was in shock. It's one of those phone calls where it didn't seem like a big deal, but you could tell something was going on. And so I drove down to the hospital, like, yeah, I better check this out. And when I walked in, I'll never forget, they had the images up that you see in the school you never want to see in real life, let alone your own family member. And they're like, "Doc, we're doing the best we can. Got a traction, but he's going to be paralyzed." And so he can move arms a little bit, but he's in a chair for the rest of his days. Couldn't hug his kids and grandkids anymore. Like, completely changed our life. And so from that experience, I'm like, there's got to be a way to catch this early enough to help to stabilize balance so we're not falling all over the place, right? And if we can stop one person from living that trajectory, then it's worth every minute that I've spent figuring this out. So that's why we do these workshops for free. Like, people need to know there's another way to do this. And so that's the heart behind all this. Is that kind of helpful to see where we're coming from on that?
Yeah.
So that's my dad. That's an image of what his neck was like, and my kids when they were much younger. My nephew's in there too. But yeah, that was a story that totally changed it. We walked through the physical, mental, emotional, financial, all of those aspects. Like back then, it was like 10 years ago now. Putting an addition on a house, right? You had a 2-story house that had put on a master bedroom that was ADA compliant. It was like $50,000 for basic stuff. I mean, it wasn't anything fancy. Now it's, I'm sure, probably triple that. So, like I said, we walked through this whole gamut, and that's what drove me to figure out the legacy way. So it's more than just the name on our sign. It's actually how we treat people. It's how we take care of folks, right? So we first listen and tell me your story. What's going on? What got you to where you are now? Too many times I hear my patients are shuffled through a doctor's office with a 5 or 6 minute office visit, and they leave with a script, and then that's like, see you later. Have you guys experienced that before? You have to like rush through and here's the number. Then we'd like to do things differently here if you're okay with that. So first of all, that's our first step. Let's really listen and see what's going on. Then we do our expert and efficient examinations. Figure out how many factors are we dealing with. We've got gentle genius protocols. I get to stand on the shoulders of giants and put all these things together. So that's a big part of that. We activate the healing response. And today we're actually going to show one of you, we're going to do a live demonstration and show you what this actually looks like in real time. Okay? We create mind-body connections because if there's numbness and tingling going on or pain, the brain, like the nerves aren't synced up. So we try to reconnect those systems. Why do we do all that? It's your legacy. You got one shot at this, right? You got one life. And so you might as well max it out, right? Live it to the full. Love the people that are in your world. you have so much to continue to contribute. And so that's why we do this for, to make sure that you can live the best quality of life you possibly can. So that's how we do things, all right? With that in mind, this is close to 8 years now. We've seen well over 2,200 cases. Countless seminars. I've spent well over 1,000 hours figuring this out over the last 7, 8 years. Now I get invited to speak from time to time and consult with other docs. So that's about background in this arena. Okay. So yeah, Jay and Judy, we were miserable. When Jay came in, he was literally riding backwards in his car, like he couldn't sit down. His back was so bad, he thought it was from arch issues, but he ended up having a disc problem in his lower back. He had neuropathy and like diabetes. So he had a lot of things that were bothering him there. But we were miserable. You probably tested that, Marie, right? Like it's not just the person dealing with it; it's the whole circle of influence, right? So we got to help Jay get put back together, got his job back, and he did a whole lot better. Rick, Robin was driving me crazy. My feet were felt like they were ice cold all the time. Anybody feel like their feet are cold, but they're not necessarily really cold? And waking up 5, 6 times a night. Man, like I can't imagine. When I have a bad night's sleep, everything is worse the next day. And so some of you probably having sleeping trouble is a really common symptom of this too. Sleeping better, sleeping through the night, no longer have to get up. Probably is 75% better. And that wasn't all the way through his program. The reason Rick showed up, he had a son with severe special needs, and he's like, I gotta be the dad, show up and take care of my family, and so he's like, whatever it takes, I'm gonna go make it happen. Rick did great. And Sandy, when I first came in, bad shape, couldn't walk. A lot of pain in my legs. Now my right leg is pain-free, my left leg is feeling better. Treatment's helping and it's worth it. So again, these are just stories to encourage you of people that have been in your shoes that are now literally living a different life. So today I want to show you, here's our measure of success. Like we've got to measure stuff. So this is my measure for that today. I want to show you the root cause. What causes neuropathy? How does it get there? And then show you our 4-pronged approach. What do we do to make it better? And then hopefully get some hope back for your own healing. That's why we share those stories too. Like, hey, they did it, so can I. And then we can show you what next steps could look like, if that makes sense. Okay? So let's dive in on the understanding root cause. So I want everybody to put your hand up like this for me. It's a little demonstration for you. The palm of the hand is going to represent your nerve cell. The fingers are going to represent your blood vessels. Okay? So if you were to squeeze your hand as tightly as you can, and let's say we held that for 15 minutes, what are you start to feel?
Arthritis.
Yeah, the arthritis, right? Yeah, aches and pains, right? Yeah, absolutely. What else?
After beating. After beating.
Yeah, the heartbeat. Yeah. So vascular things or heart beating, like throbbing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else might you feel? Any ideas?
Loose feeling?
Yeah, loose feeling. Right, might go numb if you held it that long. Right? Yeah. What else? George, you have any ideas? We covered a lot of them. You can raise your hand if you haven't yet.
I guess none of us are boxers.
Yeah, exactly. But the concept is when you start to choke off the blood supply and you start to suffocate that nerve, everything you're mentioning is a neuropathy symptom. Numbness, tingling, right? Like stiffness, all those things, throbbing, all of that can be related to choking off the blood supply. Does that make sense? So that's what causes neuropathy, is a deficit essentially in blood supply, and then the nerve starts to die. Make sense? The better question then is what causes this? So we're going to talk about that. But literally the research shows there's over 100 different reasons this can happen. Okay? So a lot of them there's a lot of connections to that. We're going to talk about what those are and kind of simplify that for you. But that's the big picture. If you understand that, and we can make this happen again, guess what happens? Yeah, we start winning. Okay? So, The other way to think of this too is like a battery. Every cell in your body is a battery. Like literally, there's a charge in your cells. So if you have a cell phone and you're running too many apps, what happens? Man, battery drains. So you're going through life and the battery's drained, right? For various reasons. If you start draining the battery too much, you get to the point where you can't heal anymore. Right? So you got to start shutting down apps. You can't fix everything. So this doesn't get fixed because your heart needs to run, your brain needs to run to keep you alive, and your feet, well, too bad. We don't have enough energy to heal that. Does that make sense? So if we can charge the battery back up, now we've got energy for other tissues to heal. That's a really important concept. Okay? So that's a big deal. If we can charge the energy back up in the body, now you've got energy to heal again. You can use that for a variety of things. And you'll see how that works here in the demo. All right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, again, when we do this, right, we're choking the blood supply, we're suffocating the nerve. You start feeling the burning, tingling, numbness. Those are all the symptoms. But what drives that with neuropathy, what drains the battery, is things like gut health. Stress is another major one that's not on here. Macronutrients. Yeah. Macronutrients are your carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. How many do you, like, which one do we eat too much of, do you think, Deb? In the U.S., generally speaking.
Carbs.
Yeah, carbs is a big one, right? Yeah, thanks for playing. We get too much sugar, too much insulin will damage your nerves real quick. So that's a big one. Micronutrients, that's your B12, your magnesium, lipoic acid, all these different micronutrients that actually make the nerves work and run and create energy in the system. Those are the micros. Oxygen deprivation, either from lung problems, heart problems, things like that can be a complicating factor. Sedentary lifestyle, right? If you're not feeling good, you don't want to get up and move anyway, so then that becomes so cyclical. And underlying neurological weaknesses. Some people have genetic predispositions for this and so on. So those are the main drivers that drain the batteries. Then your body doesn't have enough energy to heal anymore and you start breaking down faster than you can repair. Does that make sense? So here's what happens. Secret number one then is restoring blood flow. So in my office, we'll do a thermal scan to see where the blood flow is, right? Is it adequate or not? The normal colors are red and white. That's good heat, good blood flow. You can see that in her hands and torso here. What do you see in the feet?
Not much red.
Not so much, yeah, not so much red. Cold, right? Cooler colors means not enough blood flow. So that was June 2nd. Fast forward to 6 weeks later, what are you noticing now?
A lot more.
Right. Yeah, and so from the season, it's not like, oh, it's warmer. It's not much warmer mid-July than it is June. At least in 23, it was pretty similar. This year's been a mess. But when we start restoring blood flow, right, we're getting the possibility for the tissue to heal again. Because now you can get nutrients in and toxins out. Does that make sense? So blood flow restoration is a big deal. Here's what happens when we start getting circulation back. I'll set this up very briefly because Betty was one of my first patients in practice. She came in. Hey, Greg, welcome.
Thank you.
Before we jump into this, who can catch Greg up? This is a little test time, guys. Who's going to catch Greg up? Where we been? What causes neuropathy? Let's go. We'll just keep it that simple.
Lack of oxygen.
Yeah. Great, Deb. So real quick, Greg, if this is a nerve cell and these are your blood vessels, when you start to choke off the blood supply, you're gonna get numbness, tingling. Like, does that make sense? If we can restore blood flow, that's one of the secrets to actually reversing neuropathy.
That's
Okay,
how
that's
we
what we're-
live.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about now. So, Betty came in and she had a back problem. Traditionally trained as a chiropractor, so it worked out really well. Got her better pretty quick. And then she's like, Doc, I got neuropathy. Can you help me with this? And I'm like, I don't know, Betty. We heard some stuff in school about it, but we weren't really trained in this. I don't know. We'll try some things. And she's like, I'm open to that. So we put together a plan. And we worked on her a bit. And guess what happened? I wish. We got nowhere. We actually got worse. Okay. And then what do you do when things don't work? You go back to the drawing board, right? You figure something else out. So what we did, we put another plan together. It's like, okay, so try that plan. And guess what happened then?
It didn't work.
Didn't work. Strike two. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, this is, like I said, learning through the school of hard knocks. And then we found the 4-pronged approach that we're going to show you today. And that the synergy of all that working together really got us a lot of traction. Okay, so she's going to mention numbers in the first video here. And I want you to pay attention to that because when your nerve has lost 85% of its ability to feel, so the sensory nerves have lost 85%, that's typically the point of no return. There's going to be some permanent nerve damage there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Well, I just had a stroke 3 months ago, and they
Wow.
did a whole scan on my body.
Yeah.
And I've been telling my doctor for years that my lips are numb. She just kind of ignored it, went like this, said they're okay. And then after I had the stroke, they told me I had nerve damage, and then my arms got numb, my legs are numb. They haven't sent me to a neurologist yet, but they said they want to.
Yeah, and then again, what are the options the neurologist has? First of all, Deb, I'm sorry.
I don't
Like
know.
that's.
I mean, my blood's flowing really good. I have no clots anywhere.
Mhm.
They check my heart out everywhere, so I don't have any clots. And they say your blood's flowing.
So
good.
that's
That's
great.
a plus.
That's great. When we go back no. This is microcirculation. This is the capillaries.
Mhm.
So all of the standard blood flow testing that they're doing in the medical arena is not adequate to find the capillary perfusion. And that's where you need the blood flow to get to the nerve. What they're checking for are the main arteries. Like, is there any clogs in the big stuff, right? That's going to kill you. Obviously, you don't want to make another stroke, right? Like, they're looking for that. And that's great that that's clear.
So my heart doctor said that's all good.
Yeah. But that's a really important concept to understand, is that we're
That's
looking
why I
for
came because my whole
microcirculation.
body's numb. I didn't know what to do about it.
Yeah, like that's a big deal.
I went to a chiropractor and they said I didn't have a pinched nerve. So.
Yeah, no, that's a bigger deal than that for sure. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. But that's a really important concept. We're looking for the microcirculation, not the main. It's like the snowstorm, right? All the major roads are clear. Oh, it's fine. Well, no, you're in the you're in the back roads and it's still clogged up. You're going nowhere. So that's the same idea with nerves and blood flow. You got to get all the roads open, not just the big ones. So that's what we're dealing with on that. Going the wrong way. Yeah, so listen to the numbers. I'll let Betty share her story. The reason I share this is the long-term results that are possible, even when we failed the first couple times. We got it right, and then it keeps working. So I'll let her tell her. Oh, 2 things on this quickly. The office background is different. I was in Lancaster for 15 years before we moved up this way. And then the other question I get is, no, the treatment does not turn your hair white. She went gracefully gray between the two. Okay, so that's the difference there.
And the doctor has darker hair.
So I'm here with Betty, and she's been, how long have you been in the neuropathy program now?
A little over 2 months.
About 2 months. And you started and you were pretty high percentages from.
Yes. I'm correct, I'm 88% loss.
88% right.
On the right and 78 on the left.
Yeah, and we weren't really sure, like, I don't know if it's gonna help initially.
Yes.
So tell me, what were you experiencing when you first came in with the neuropathy symptoms?
Yeah. Extremely restless at night, and my toes area especially hurt. It was an unusual, it was hard to define or describe the ache that's there. Sometimes it felt like my feet were freezing, and yet when I touched them, they weren't cold.
Right, that sensation of the freezing,
Mhm.
yeah. And then, what's been your experience since being able to start the program?
Well, I don't experience the restlessness or the pain. Yeah, and that's only been 2 months, and I have time to go yet, so I'm very delighted.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this turns out for you, because I know when we looked at your last set of numbers, you're doing, I think only, well, it was less than 40%.
It's 31,
It's 31 on one side and
31 on the other.
on the other. Oh, is he?
Yes.
See, you know
Yes.
better than I do. That's great.
That's
So that's a huge change from, 80s.
It is.
That's wonderful.
And I'm so grateful. But the thing that really blesses my heart is my older sister is numb from her knees down and now from her hands to her elbows. And I was hoping I could avoid that. And surely with God's help and your help, I'm doing that.
Yeah, we're really thankful to be a part of that, and that we get to be a part of your story with that, Betty. So thanks so much for sharing that. Do I have your permission to share this with other people, other patients, other students, other doctors?
Sure.
Any
Yes,
conditions
indeed.
on sharing that?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
thanks so much, Betty.
You're welcome.
All right.
Did that make sense? She started out almost point of no return. 2 months later, we got a ton of feeling back. She went on to get all of her feeling back. 100% sensory return. Which means she's out there playing with her grandkids again and just doing normal life. This video is 6 years later. A follow-up 6 years after. She saw us all her feeling back. I'll just let her share that story with you here. Okay, so I'm here with Betty. This is what, like about a 6 or so year follow-up.
Yeah.
So tell me about what your symptoms are now for the neuropathy.
Well, it's good unless I eat sweets.
Okay?
Then I have misery in my feet.
Gotcha.
Big time.
But otherwise, you don't really do equipment right now, and you're not really using that as part of your care plan anymore.
Correct.
Just stay on the diet part.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And that's fantastic long-term results so far, especially because your sister was in bad shape.
Yes.
And we've avoided that. That's thank God for that.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it for what you do as well. Bless you.
Thank you.
You see how she put her hair over her ears because you were too loud?
Probably. Yeah. So, unfortunately, her sister ended up in a wheelchair. She wasn't around, and she didn't live nearby, and wasn't near any of my colleagues, and so thankfully we got to avoid that for Betty. But hers was a genetic element, right? She had a new family. So yeah, I was gonna mention another piece, and then there's HIPAA, so I gotta skip that part for her. But anyway, these are the long-term results you can see. It's like if the arm's broken, right, and you cast it, heals up, do you still need to keep the cast on it? No, it's healed up, you just move on with your life, right? The same thing can happen with the nerves. Now, she was non-diabetic, and notice when she ate sugar and sweets, it made it worse. So there is still a connection with sugar and insulin, even if you're non-diabetic. Okay, you need to be aware of that. That's a big one. But there's the long-term kind of results that are possible when you treat them with the body right. Let's see if this will let me move through. Oh, cool. Number 2 then. So number 1 is blood flow. Secret number 2 is going to be inflammation. Right? Who's heard that inflammation can wreck everything? Right? It's like bad for you. So here's the triggers for inflammation. Number 1 is prolonged stress. Now I get that out of the way. So when you're stressed, do you do more of this or this? Yeah, right? It's like constricts blood vessels. It doesn't make them flags that open up. So other ones, pathogens. We're number 1 in the world in Pennsylvania for what? Infection. Yeah, Lyme disease. We're number 1. Yay. Okay. But that's a big deal. Tick-borne illness is a big deal. There's a specific one. It's called a co-infection, Bartonella, and that is known to create neuropathy symptoms. So we screen for that in our assessments too to see is there an infection that's driving part of the situation. Okay. And then junk food, right? That's a big category right there. It'll trigger inflammation. Certain chemicals and medications, definitely chemotherapy, is known to create that. And frankly, that's actually one of the easier ones to treat, believe it or not. But that's a big one. Another one is statin drugs. Certain statin drugs will create muscle weakness, pain, neuropathy kind of symptoms. So if you're on the statins, check with your prescribing doc to see if that's a part of your problem. Heavy metals, another big one. So let's say, mercury, right?
Mhm.
It's dangerous over here. OSHA's got all the regulations and rules you got to follow. But then your dentist puts it in your filling, right? It's in your mouth for 20, 30 years or whatever. And then they got to change it out. It's safe here, but then they pull it back out, and all of a sudden it's toxic again. They got to follow the OSHA regulations and rules again. That's all I'm going to say about that. But mercury is known to create a lot of neurological problems, right? If you can add a lot of things in there, like again, Agent Orange I mentioned, and other environmental industrial toxins can cause problems, and chronic dehydration.
Tuna has mercury, and I was in the grocery store and I took a can of tuna off
Yeah.
one, and when I put it back, I could feel it pull, it like,
Oh, really?
it was like a magnet.
Wow.
And pulled it right in. I said, I'm not eating
I've never
that
experienced that before, but no, that's crazy, right?
brand. I said, I'm not eating that
Yeah.
brand anymore.
That's probably a good idea. Generally speaking, half your body weight in ounces is really important. Otherwise, you don't have blood volume for your blood flow, right? So you get dehydrated, you can't be doing this.
Mhm.
Okay. So those are some really common triggers for inflammation. When we start reducing inflammation, maybe there we go. You get things like Isabella's story. She was a severe type 2 diabetic. Really bad neuropathy. She was in late stage 3, almost to the point of no return. On her paperwork, she said, if something doesn't change, I'm going to be dead within 1 to 2 years. Right. So that's a serious scenario. We started removing junk from her system, helping restore function, and helping her retain those corrections. Did that through detoxification, change your lifestyle, anti-inflammatory food plan, hydration, and then light therapy was the other big one because we're adding energy in with the light. Remember charging the battery? So we were stopping the energy drain and we're charging the battery back up. Then she says, I'm on top of the world, flying on a cloud no matter what, other circumstances. I'm feeling at my best in my body at 53 a year ago, so I was very sick. One day she came in doing great, and she's like, Doc, I'm giving you a bill. I'm like, Isabel, this wonderful French lady, really fun sense of humor. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, are you? And she's like, here's the deal. None of my clothes fit anymore. Not even my underwear. I need an entire new wardrobe, and I'm giving you the bill for it. This is 70 pounds lighter. And we saw her a couple weeks ago, she lost another 15. So when you treat the body right, get rid of inflammation, she now no longer has type 2 diabetes. Like her neuropathy is significantly improved, and she's just living a whole new life. So these are the things we can help with when you start reducing inflammation. Okay? And then secret number 3 is now experiencing the actual acceleration of the nerve healing. Like, how do we do that? So we're going to show you what that looks like. And to do that, we're going to kind of give you guys an idea, a little experience for what your balance is like right now. And then we kind of get an assessment on that. We'll get to pick somebody for a demo. You guys ready for that? So if you stand up, get a little break from the chair for a minute. And then I'm going to show you the test. If you want to join us, you're welcome to.
I'm afraid.
Might as well. Yeah, if you're afraid, that's fine too. Yeah, and that's a good point. If any of these are uncomfortable, don't feel like you need to do them. Just bring some awareness to where you're at and what might be going on. Okay? So obviously with my story, balance is a big deal, and so we always check that one and make sure that's in good shape. So I'm going to show you what they look like, then we'll do them as a group. So the first one is just hands are on your hips, and your feet will be as close together as you can. You'll close your eyes for 10 seconds, and we'll see how we get. No one should fall over on that one. Marie, not yet. Open your eyes. There you go. The next one then is going to be hands are going to be on the hips for all of them. The second test will be you'll bring your knee up and hold for 10 seconds on that. And then the third one, if you pass, that would be eyes closed 10 seconds. And then, yeah, makes sense? So this is our simple screening process for balance. So let's try the first one together. Hands, yep, on the hips, and then close your eyes. Feet as close together as you can. And we'll count it. Yeah, if it's too much, don't push it. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. That's about 10 seconds. Let's do that again. Eyes open. Ready? And close your eyes in 3, 2, 1 now. And open the eyes. Good. Nobody fell over. That's a win. Good. If that one's a problem, there's usually bigger neurological problems happening. So that's a good thing that nobody fell over. Number next is going to be knee up, one leg. Don't do it yet. We'll count this in. Stand on your strongest leg. This one gets 80-90% of people. So let's give that a shot. You ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1, stand on your strongest leg. Yeah, that's okay. No. Okay.
No.
Gene's hanging and trying. That's about 10 right there. I don't have my exact watch on, but we're kind of in that ballpark. So you passed that one, all right?
Yep.
Yeah, good. And who else had like a foot came down once or more? Like everybody else. Yeah, so for the sake of time, we'll kind of skip that last one. You're welcome to play with that at home. But yeah. Did that bring awareness like a little, is it better or worse than you thought? What was your experience with that? What'd you notice?
Yeah, I used to take a balancing class at the Y. I used
Oh, yeah?
to walk 5 miles a day and
Mhm.
take 4 classes at the Y.
Wow.
I can't do the balancing class. I'm always bringing my foot down
Sure.
to balance myself. But I could before.
Yeah.
Can't now.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys should have a seat. And that's a big deal. Balance is a big challenge.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Who's had neuropathy symptoms for more than, say, 10 years? Anybody have more than 10 years? More than 5 years?
5 years.
You guys roughly 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else symptoms more than 5 years?
Close.
Right around 5? Greg, what about you?
Less than a year,
Less than a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
but it hit me hard.
Yeah, I can tell your balance was not
No, it's not.
happy.
There. It's not there.
Okay. Since your balance was decent, I don't know that we're going to get more out of that. I'm curious. So that's one of the things we check in our demo. Does anybody not want to be treated? Some people are like, yeah, don't pick me. Why, but yeah. So between Gene and Greg, let's do rock, paper, scissors. That's kind of fun. We'll pick our winner that way. So remember as a kid, you did rock, paper, scissors?
How to play it.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
I forget that too.
Yeah, right. I know that. You're not the only one. That's happened several times before.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't remember that one.
So we'll do it's real easy. So we got rock, paper, right, and scissors.
Okay.
So we'll do on 3. Just pick one of those 3. Ready? Ready, Greg? Or I'm sorry, Gene. You're Greg. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You'll do it at the same time.
Oh,
Here we go.
okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. You both got rock. Let's do it again.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay, paper beats rock. Greg, you're up.
Uh-oh, what am I doing?
I don't know yet. Let's figure it out. Thanks for playing. That's a little fun, right?
You want your paper back.
Oh, boy.
So, we're going to check some things for his nervous system, see what's working and what's not. Going to get a general assessment, and then we're going to do some real gentle, nothing invasive treatment-wise. We'll see what that is, and I'll walk through exactly what we're doing and see if we make changes.
Okay.
All right, so this will take roughly 10 or so minutes. I'm going to stand right here, Greg.
Okay.
Awesome. Facing her,
Face
awesome.
center.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then let's give a round of applause because I think after we graduate, you get clapped for maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. So I'd like to give a little extra love where we
Can
can.
I ask one question since
Sure.
I missed the beginning? So no medication is involved in your treatment?
None.
None.
Yeah, 0 medication.
Okay, because I'm really allergic to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So let's actually measure his balance time. So we have a watch that can actually measure because I don't have mine on today. Like a little second, anything with a second.
Is he one on the phone?
Second hand.
Yeah, I'm on through the balance right now.
Yeah, not yet.
I had,
No, go ahead. Yeah. A little
Well-
history on that or what?
yeah, last June we went on vacation at a place, a resort, and had one of those tubs, nice circular tub for my wife and I. And right in the middle is it comes up to the form. And I couldn't sit, my wife was in and bubbling. I sat right down and injured my tail.
Ouch.
And since then, you can't really repair it. Tail, it has to heal itself. It's been kind of going downhill.
Mm.
And I don't know. It seems like now when I work, it's just annoyance. When I come home, the pain is there.
Yeah.
I don't have no medication. I don't do pain pills.
Okay.
I suffer
Yeah, right?
on that. Yeah.
What about feet?
Well,
Notice tingling,
yeah,
sensation
I
in feet,
have at nighttime. It's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
toes. I feel that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can relate some of that to what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we got with this. So I'm going to check his shoulder range of motion, which seems unrelated to neuropathy, but it's one of the things we often see improve when we start treating the whole body and the nervous system the right way. So it's another way, and it's easy in a demo to check that. So we're going to look at that. So let the shoulder relax for me here.
Relax.
Yeah, let it go easy.
Okay.
And that one, like, he's got decent range, but that should actually hit him in the head. That should go up and, like, smack him
Oh, okay.
like that. Let this relax completely here.
Okay.
And that one's better movement, right? But not great. Just a
Yeah, a little
check.
bit of shoulder injury on this right side.
On the right side, yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
some restriction there.
A work thing. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, definitely better on the left. So with that, too, if you notice his shoulder height, a little bigger or a little higher on,
Oh, sorry.
actually on the right side here.
Oh.
You see that? It's a little higher on this right than the left.
Yeah.
So let's check that. So the muscle that holds that shoulder down is likely inhibited. We'll just test it and find out. That's the lat muscle, by the way. Turn that arm backwards, elbows straight. You're gonna look just like this.
Oh.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, pull that into your waist. I'm gonna pull it out. Yeah, just like hold it in.
Right.
That's it. Just like
Okay.
that. Hold that in tight.
All right.
And he's trying, but that muscle doesn't hold.
Right.
Pull in again. Yeah, that doesn't work yet. Let's try the other one here.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yep, turn that back a little more, elbow as straight as you can get it.
Okay.
Yeah, that one I can't budge. Like that's solid. That's how it should be. Okay, so we got an inhibition in that muscle over here that comes from the neck, but affects the whole shoulder. Now let's look for balance. All right, so you did okay with feet together ish. So we're gonna do the one leg. Which was your strongest leg you were standing on?
All right.
So the right one. Okay, so who can time us?
Huh.
D's got it. Awesome.
Okay.
So hands on the hips, count them in, and when he says go, you're gonna stand on that right leg as long as you can. I'll be right here.
Oh, pull it up.
All
Yeah,
right.
you'll kind of do that.
Yeah.
You ready, Greg?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so maybe 2.5 generously.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can improve that, what would be 100% improvement?
The whole time.
Like 5 seconds, right? Would be 100% for this 2.5. So, percentages over there. But if we need to make any improvement on balance, that'd be a win. Does that happen? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. That's why we check some other things. I'm gonna have you lean into my shoulder, or your shoulder into my hand. I'm just gonna check his stability while I push him a little bit. And so he can't, like that's too wiggly, right?
Okay.
Let's try this one here. Lean into me over here. And that one he does better on. I can lean my body weight into him. He's not falling over. Let's try this one again to make sure we're on the same
Okay.
page.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, that one, like, I can move him. Right. That shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to lean backwards in my hand. I won't let you fall, but lean back. Okay, and that's, you see him kind of trying to,
Yeah.
so that he's buckling a bit there.
Mhm.
And we're doing the opposite, going forward into my hand. Okay. And he's like, that one's fine. But his leaning back, he's buckling. You seeing that?
Yeah.
So his stability in his core isn't where it needs to be yet. That's part of the balance challenge for him. All right. So those are just some other things we can screen. Let's have you sit down here for us. Yeah, right there is great.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna check some motor and see. You like that, right?
Could I say? No.
Yeah, right. So we got stair climbers, right? And going downstairs, we're gonna check muscles on the front, back of the leg. Those are important for balance and stability. So let's have you raise your knee up to the ceiling for me there. Yeah, that one is solid. Okay. Can you pull the heel backwards for me? Yeah, bend the knee back. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. That one doesn't hold. Pull back. Yeah, so like feeling that's weaker?
Mm-hmm. Much weaker.
Yeah. Let's have your heel on the floor with this
Oh,
one.
that
Yeah,
one.
same light. And we're gonna bring the toes up and out that way toward your shoulder. Like right there. Yeah, I'm gonna
okay.
keep that up there. I'm gonna push down. We're checking these muscles over here.
Okay.
Hold that foot up in the air. Okay, and that one actually collapses too.
Yeah.
You seeing that? You guys can move if you need to, we're small enough group we can play around. Try this one again. Try the right side knee up.
Okay.
Okay, and again, that one I can lean my weight on. Pull the heel backwards for me there. Bend the knee back, yeah, just like that. Pull back, pull back. Yep, pull back, keep pulling back. That one's okay. Heel on the floor, toe up and out that way. Yeah. And
Which way?
yeah, you're doing it. Like I can lean on that.
Oh,
Right, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
So the right side's actually, he picked that one, right? That's my stronger leg, which is instinctively what you do. So he's got more strength on the right leg, but the left one's not all the way there. The hamstring's not working and the lower leg muscles aren't working. So let's do this. Socks and shoes are gonna come off. And we're gonna do some treatment.
Socks and shoes?
Yeah, take socks and shoes off. And while he's doing that, Dr. Jeff Midgley is gonna help do the treatment, and I'll be explaining what we're going through and all the stuff. So again, if you want to get up and move and get a better view, feel free. This is recharging the batteries. Okay, so keep that concept in mind. What we're trying to
I need mine recharged.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Those compression socks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought that's fine.
yeah. Anything to help, right? Like it's, a lot of people have tried a lot of things, like compression socks or over-the-counter this, or like you do what you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to show you stuff that routinely works.
Good luck.
And so what he's putting on the feet here is a digital electrotherapeutic stimulator. Okay? You may have heard of a TENS unit before. Remember the TENS? So this is not a TENS unit. TENS does not work.
Okay.
TENS is 1950s technology, which sends one signal out from the device to the muscle that you're working on. This will actually rehab the nerve signal. So it sends a signal from the device, the nerve system responds, and then it reads what's going on and sends a new signal out. So it's like a constant real-time exchange in the nerve. Okay? So that's a big deal. The bottom line here is this will rehab the nerve signal, and we have a couple different options or models we can pick from depending on what your case would need. Okay?
My private duty lady I took care of, her husband used to be a doctor, and she had big equipment in her room. I said,
Oh, yeah?
"What's that?" And it was a nerve.
Nerves, yeah. Yeah.
We never used it, she never showed me how.
So is this-
Oh, okay. Well, these are actually pretty small. I mean, you can see it's not too big. And this is the big one.
Her machine was real big.
Yeah, it's bigger.
One of those old ones.
Yeah.
No, we're just treating our, so we're using different languages to start to charge your cells.
There we go. The other part here is vibration. So going back to the blood flow piece, right? You ever push a hand mower, right? What happens to the hands after a while? So they're buzzing around, right? They go numb, they kind of go tingly. Yeah, that's the wrong vibration.
If I put my hand on the steering wheel after a while, this hand goes down.
That's a different kind of scenario, but similar. So the vibration though is either going to be helpful to pull blood in or it's going to push it away, right? So mowers tend to push it away. This vibration is what brings blood flow back. So we're helping to enhance circulation, and it's also improving the balance nerves. Vibration is helpful for stimulating balance. Question, John?
If you have heart condition, can you be doing that?
Yeah. Yep, I've not seen that being an issue with heart conditions. In fact,
Mine's severe.
yeah, and obviously that depends on case by case and what we need to do and what's okay and all that. That's why we do our intakes, right? We figure out what's going on.
I got
Yeah.
a question.
Yeah.
So are you gonna talk through all the different?
He's going to.
Yeah,
I know you talked about the vibration and the electro
Yep.
stimulation.
Yeah, we've got
but then
6
you
or
put-
7 slides.
Oh, okay,
up here.
sorry.
yeah, it's coming. No, you're just ahead of the game, buddy. It's great. No, that's awesome. So yeah, so everybody, so far we got electrotherapeutic stimulation, we got vibration. And then what Dee's talking about next is light. Is that what your question was about?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm curious,
the red
I
light.
don't know Greg's situation, if it's just the foot or elsewhere, but,
Mhm.
I mean, you're applying it to
Yeah.
that area, so how does,
Yeah,
if you have peripheral neuropathy, would the light be applied to the area, or?
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm still jumping.
That's perfectly great question. So yes, we got a couple things going on. So the nerve root is in the lower back, right? So we can put light into the front. He's got one in the back, I think
Two in the back.
Two in the back. Yeah, so we're treating the nerve root from the spine.
Okay.
And then also, remember I said the periphery feeds back to the spine into the brain. So that's why we're adding light to the brain to bring blood flow back to there and make all those connections. Remember the mind-body connections that we talked about in our process. So this is actually using light energy to charge the battery in the brain. Because where do you feel? Where do you feel hot, cold, pain? Where does all that register? In the brain, right? That's your parietal lobes in the brain. It says, oh, that's hot, that's cold, that's sharp, that's dull, makes sense?
It's like you stub your toe and 2 seconds later you're gonna feel it.
No, immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when you rub it, it's overriding those sensations from the foot to get it to the brain. Which is why it takes some of the pain away there after you stub your toe there.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why we started to work with the brain here too. Because I don't know what's going on here either. I'm in the same boat. We've never met before, right?
Yeah, right.
And right now, my toes, my feet are very sensitive.
Okay.
Very sensitive.
Yeah.
If I walk barefooted out and a little weak pebble hits me, kids can walk around on solid stones,
Yeah, right.
They're used to it. But
Yep.
no, it's very painful.
Yeah. And that's common. So with nerve damage, first thing that happens is hypersensitivity. It gets more sensitive and then it goes to numb and dead. So if you're into that hypersensitive stage, you already know you're in the nerve degeneration path. Does that make sense? It's like the first stage of that is going from normal feeling to hypersensitive, and then it degrades even more from there.
So is this one?
Yeah, great question. Red light, a lot of people are familiar with red light these days, so that's kind of a buzz going around. So we got several different kinds of laser and light that we're using in the demo here. So this one, bottom line is it restores blood flow. Okay, so again, we can dilate blood vessels and get that opened up, and you'll see here in a minute, we'll put it on the feet as well to answer your question. Typically, if we're dealing with foot neuropathy, we're going to shine light where the blood flow is needed, but you also need blood flow, brain, nerve roots, etc., to get the whole pathway looped in. Does that make sense? Yeah. So again, we've been taught very often, oh, it's in my foot, only work on the foot, and that's when a lot of systems fail because they're missing the whole pathway. Right. So we got to connect brain to spine to the periphery to get that whole system to work out. Yeah, great question. Yeah.
So is this a laser or just a red light?
So we've got a variety. We have laser and we have red light. LED is to be more specific for that. Yeah. And then the other, so the ones on the waist are laser. This is a combination. So yeah, it's a mix of different wavelengths, different. Which be a whole other workshop in the details of why we're using those. But for the concept is they charge the battery. Light energy goes directly in, bypasses any GI, malabsorption things, anything like that. We get light energy right into the tissue that needs it, starts making new blood vessels, gets more blood flow back, right? And we start to win. Also release pain. So again, show you can use them back, on knees, on brain, shoulders, whatever you need to make that improve, especially hearts that are sensitive. Get energy in that heart. Yeah, that can be a really big deal.
In my legs. I'm having big time trouble in my legs.
Yeah. So yeah, light energy can be applied just about anywhere. Okay, obviously you want to stare into it, but other than that, we're in good shape.
And if that act on the floor, is there no way for the tickling and scratching and
The itching and the tingling
that
and all that?
to go or
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Again, if you're doing this right long enough, it's going to start to tingle and kind of feel and make itch a little bit. Like all those kind of symptoms can come from when you're choking the blood flow off.
Oh yeah.
So when you restore the blood flow, now you have a possibility for those things to go away because the nerve gets the nutrients it needs. Does that make sense? Yeah, great question.
Making like that.
Yes, we need to go from here to here. And all of this does that. That's the bottom line. Okay? We have nutritional protocols that actually work. You may have seen this thing online or, buy this pill or nerve cream or whatever. And if they work, then we never see them. And they caught it early enough. But typically, they're a small piece of the puzzle. You need to heal it from the inside out, reduce inflammation, all those things. And these protocols have been used in over 500 clinics across the country. And we've seen tens of thousands of patients improve with it. So clinically, they are definitely useful and work. Other things, you need the nutritional one?
Yeah.
Sure, this is a basic fruit and veggie pick. Good. Now, this is where we failed initially with Betty, because we were only doing things in the office. Okay, and that's where we weren't able to treat the nerve often enough to make traction and get headway on it. That being said, they're vitally important if we need to do these. They are like rocket boosters on the whole process. So some people have a pinched disc in their back, or they're post-op in their low back, and they're trying to keep the other ones from degenerating. And so if that's happening, the back on track is in the corner there. You can see here it gently decompresses the back and takes the pressure off the nerve so it can talk to the legs again. Okay, so there's a nerve pinch, if you will, which is a simplistic way of thinking about it, but the idea is if you can make room for that nerve to talk, it's going to work better. Does that make sense? So that works great. It helps save a lot of back surgeries and rehab a lot of post-op backs with that. The chair that Greg's in now, Sandy was in, this is the magnetic. So again, like when your cell phone dies, you put it on a magnetic charger, like the induction charger. Same idea. That's what this technology is here. And that chair with different attachments we can use for the feet and so on. It's a magnet that turns on and off really quickly. I would demo that, but the last time I did, I literally killed the computer, so I'm not gonna do that. But what happens then is when you charge it back up, it literally is like charging your cells back up. Blood flow improves, immune system improves. Anything your body can do with more energy, this makes it heal quicker. I had one lady in her early 70s, car wreck, spiral fracture in her humerus, pinned it together. They're like, you'll be in a cast, for 6 months because of her age and all that. We get her out in 3. Using pulse is a big deal in that, like getting energy back in there, and she can rehab a whole lot quicker. So I can tell a story after story on that one. But that's a big deal, getting blood flow back in the tissue. Make sense? All right. Other big helpers, maybe? There we go. Is, you've heard of stem cell therapy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a big deal these days.
Yeah.
This will actually activate your own stem cells that are in the tissue. Instead of injecting foreign ones, this activates your own body's stem cells. Get a 300% increase in blood flow, which is good for what? Everything, right? So you can also use it on other joints. It looks like an ultrasound wand, and very commonly people with neuropathy have other joint problems, knees, backs, shoulders, and so on. And so that's a common tool we can use to reduce inflammation, speed the wound healing, even heal ulcers. A giant help. It was all over Paris with the Olympics. The Eagles have at least 2 in their locker room. So it gets all over major sports.
Is that the same as a shockwave thing, too?
Similar, but it is different.
So this is, what's this called again?
Soft wave.
Soft wave, yeah. I saw that on some internet.
Yeah, and so
is that sound or?
It is, yeah, it's a radio wave. And you'll hear like a little pop that goes kind of click.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the difference and the nuance is shockwave apparently damages the tissue a little bit, which then creates the response for the healing to happen. And the soft wave doesn't have that same reaction to the damaged tissue. And so it's gentler on the body. Has been my experience. The other biggie, right? Like this foot here, kind of bad shape, right? How many treatments to get it to that?
4.
I usually hear like 10. It was 1. It was one session. And if I didn't know the doc, this is not from our office, if I didn't know the doc that took the photo, I'd be like, yeah, right, baloney, that doesn't happen. But it's like, check out what happened. And so like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So yeah, it starts restoring blood flow pretty quick.
I know a man's foot that looks like that
Really?
at Bible study. He
Yeah.
takes his shoes off
Oh man.
and his feet are purple.
And he might need to give us a ring. Like, that's you don't have a lot of time when that's going on.
Tell him about this.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to do any pills and stuff like
Right.
that. They don't want to do that.
Yeah, if we can serve them and find a way to support them, absolutely. Yeah. I love the way you're thinking, already thinking about other people. That's great. Another big one, right, is oxygen back to the tissues. So we're going to show you how to breathe that actually gets blood flow re-engaged and opens, dilates blood vessels, okay? So we're going to inhale for 4 count. You're going to hold it for 4, exhale for 6 with a hum. And the hum is where the healing happens. It actually relaxes the nerves in the brain. And then we're going to hold it out for 2 and repeat. Okay? So it looks like this. Hold it.
Sorry, it was my lawyer. Sorry.
Hold it out for 2, and we'll repeat. Okay, so let's do about 3 rounds of that together. Ready? Breathing in. Hold it. Good. Hold it out for 2, and back in. Good. One more time, breathing in. Hold it. What do you notice?
Sleepy.
A little sleepy, yeah, a little more chill. Yeah. We did it 3 times. I recommend 5 to 10 times every waking hour. You can do it at a red light. You can do it whenever. I had a patient came in and learned that at the workshop. By the time she did that, she got her feet all day long for her job, and her feet were killing her. And she just did the breathing between the workshop and her appointment. She's like, Doc, my feet are already feeling different just by doing the breathing. So it works. And the hum is the magic on that one. Okay? So yeah, use that. That's easy. You gotta breathe anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see how we did here as he gets disconnected on that. I mentioned Leroy. He got 50% better. He was a type 2 diabetic, would not stop drinking Turkey Hill sweet tea. He said, I'm not giving it up. And so his progress was limited, but he still improved even though he wasn't 100% compliant. That's why I mentioned that, is you don't need to be perfect to make headway. Okay, so that's a big one there. And then Sherry, I can feel my toes for the first time in 5 to 6 years. That was about 2 weeks in for her treatment. Elsie, her husband would drive her over an hour to get here for her balance because it's so bad, and now we never see her because she's enjoying life again. And then better balance, I can feel my toes. I'm walking, it doesn't feel weird, like you're mentioning, Greg. And I haven't felt my toes in 10 years, and I was feeling his toes again. Like these are the stories that we get to be a part of, and that people, like I said, just like you guys have been winning with.
Yeah. So you just put it on where you start with you, sort of, and then you build it up.
The intensity with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if need be, right? Like sometimes you don't need to turn it all the way up. If it's getting the job done with the nerve,
Yeah.
you just leave it at the right setting and we're good to go. Yep. And often as a nerve heals, it feels more intense at the same setting.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's like, yeah, oh, I don't really feel that, but now as the nerve starts healing, I'm like, oh, I'm noticing that more. Yeah.
So they have these flat. I don't know what they call them. Jitter, whatever they are.
Vibration kits.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are they?
Yeah, similar, like these are almost a dozen anymore. You can find them all over the place, a variety of things. And but I like the seated ones, if it's a knee replacement or something like that, you're not jostling the joint in a weird way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I prefer it for that. If you're able to do a standing one, you know, joint replacements, I prefer standing for balance because obviously you're balancing when you're standing. And so you get a little more support with that. We still make the headway with the seated ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's,
Do you want me to move?
before you get up, we're gonna check and see, make sure our weaknesses are, so we made any changes, right? So that one was strong. Let's try that hamstring again.
Okay.
Remember that one? Bring that ankle up a little before we pull that ankle back. Yeah. And so now I can't buzz that back. It's stronger. You notice that?
Yeah.
You feel different, do you?
See, I got to replace this knee.
Okay.
Someday.
Oh,
This-
someday.
I did okay, I have a left hip and a right knee replaced.
Mhm.
almost 20 years. This is 15, this is 20.
Got it.
So when they replaced this one, they said, you probably should do your own one. But I never did. So it's,
Yeah, like
it's,
keep the original stuff in there as long as you can.
Yeah.
But that hamstring re-engaged. You notice that?
Yeah.
That's the key. Is we can turn the nerve on and the muscle works better. Now your ability to be stable is stronger. Does that make sense conceptually? Yeah, let's try the ankle. Heel on the floor.
Okay.
Foot's gonna go up and out that way. But yeah, there you go. I'm gonna push down.
Okay.
And now that one's not, it's still a little weak, but it's not collapsed
That's
anywhere
not.
near as what it was. And I'm pushing, right? Like I'm not. And this right side was solid when we checked it, so there's no need to recheck.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun. Let's have you stand up. And just what do you notice?
Any different?
Well, I feel more secure.
Oh, you do?
On the balance a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll measure that here in a
That's a
moment.
good thing, yeah.
Even
Yeah.
barefoot?
I am barefoot. And
Yeah.
I like walking around barefoot in the house, but yeah.
Should we get some rocks to walk on? You try that
I
out?
should do that, but
Let's check his stability. I'm going to kind of show you a little bit and see how that.
okay.
So let's have you stand here again for me.
Right.
Yep.
Next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. And then I'm going to push you here a little.
Okay.
And so now I can put my body weight into him, and he's holding that steady.
Okay.
Same thing here. That one was pretty good to begin with, if I remember. The right side was good. And leaning forward was solid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still good. And leaning back, is he buckling on that one? Not really.
Toes.
Yeah, but now you've got some grip strength in the toe to keep you from
Yeah.
buckling. So what we're saying is his nervous system regulate better to jostling stressors, if you will, right? So that's a big deal for balance.
Yeah.
When you get that core to stabilize like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check range of motion, then we'll check your balance. So just relax completely.
Okay.
What do you think? Is that different?
Well, okay. I guess
Not a ton.
I'm a little
I
bit.
mean,
Yeah.
maybe a little better in the range.
Yeah.
You know, that one got a lot better though.
Okay.
You feel like that one kind of glides up nice and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try this one here. Elbow straight, thumb back for me. Yeah, hold that in, pin that to your side again.
Okay.
Let's see, now we got that muscle working. Like, I can't budge that side either. We didn't do 6 weeks of PT or like, we just added energy to the body and it starts healing with all kinds of stuff, right? So let's check balance again. You got that timer ready? Let's see how we do with this.
This is embarrassing. My mom does this. Like you said, you went to a different class at the Y. I don't know what the lady's name is. She
Yeah.
goes to Y. She's not.
Yes, I do 4 classes.
Oh, okay.
A balance.
Balance,
Okay.
Pilates,
Yeah.
all that.
And like.
Kickboxing.
So in my case, that overall are limited.
Is it
I
help
cannot do that all that.
Is it help
Even my,
Yeah.
my socks I cannot take off.
Wow.
I have some
So yours might be way
Make
more
it feel-
advanced.
I guess I
Yeah,
have my
okay.
stroke like right in the
Yeah.
middle of my right side. Then when I'm punching the guy, I can tell.
It's a good thing you're showing up today then. Yeah.
All back.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, if there are limitations we can't do, we're not going to force somebody into like.
You have to do something else.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
The only thing I can do is standing up and
Going straight.
Standing going straight.
And that's
How about,
Man.
there's steps, they bug you?
Huh?
Steps.
Climbing.
Climbing the steps. Yeah.
Stepping is very difficult for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even said that, they were.
One of the foot after the other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
One at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How
Let's,
long, how long do the results last?
That's a
after you
great
take the
question.
After-
I've had it last up to 2 weeks just from the demo. And depends on how many batteries are drained and how bad it is, right? So that's a hard one to answer like, oh, it lasts this long. But I have had it up to 2 weeks. And literally she's like, I can't feel the floor. And then we did the demo, she could feel the floor again. And the tingling was different in her feet. And she's like, that lasted for 2 weeks. Just with the demo.
And for that to need the insurance or
It probably depends how bad you are.
Exactly. It's like, how advanced is it? How long have you had it? How many things are going on? There's a lot of factors to that.
So everybody's different.
Yeah, that's the crummy but correct answer, right? It's like everybody's different, so it's got to be.
So right
my
now,
patient needed to use the insurance for that kind of.
Oh, insurance and all that. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Or it is self-paying.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get there. Yeah, I want to measure his balance and like Greg get a chair again. We'll get into all that stuff. That's a really common question. Okay, you ready?
Mhm.
Count them in, hands on
All right.
hips, Greg. Let's check that balance again.
All
okay.
right, 3, 2, 1.
Up there.
About 3.5.
3.5, something like
That's
that.
a good
So a
practice.
little improvement with
Good thing
balance.
for me to practice on, right?
About
Yeah.
a second more.
Yeah, got about a second more on the balance.
Yeah.
In what, maybe 10 minutes?
10 minutes, and you were lifting your leg up way higher.
Way higher. So just the
Before
legs
it
that, like, come up.
before it was just off the floor. This time you were all the way up here.
Yeah.
So you were trying to balance
Okay.
it there. So that's also different.
Maybe in my case would be advantage to somebody. I have numbness in the butt.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like it's on fire.
Mm.
After I sit for a while, I'm sitting, when I get up, probably standing is the best place for me for a while.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
because sitting, I get up and then I feel, feels like it's, but it's not really hot, but it feels warm.
Yeah.
It feels like,
Yeah.
like a weird feeling, an uncomfortable feeling. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that's a nerve driving up, trying to get moving.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure this can help.
Yeah.
I think so.
So do you see when we add energy, how we can see motor strength come back? We saw balance improve a bit. We saw range of motion start to improve. We didn't do anything with diet. We didn't do anything with other in-office therapies. We just did a couple minutes of gentle, non-invasive energy, right? So now, first of all, have you ever seen a neurological change that quickly before? Ever? Right? These are the things we get to win with because we can make changes and measure them in real time. Did that actually turn it on or not? Are we seeing change or not? Now, if the nerve is damaged for a while, we gotta take time for the healing. We can start to see more immediate changes and measure them in real time. The other thing is now imagine doing this where you could have your own ability to treat this at home in a combination with office visits. And now we're doing this for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. If you're adding energy back every single day, can you see why we're winning?
Mm-hmm.
When you're stimulating the blood flow in the right way every single day, that's why we're starting to make these major changes when neuropathy is typically irreversible. You never hear of people in general population, oh, my neuropathy is gone. No, it just got too numb and you don't feel anything anymore. Does that make sense? So when you treat the body in the right way, we can start to heal it and the body starts to heal itself and the possibilities are wide open.
So, what will that, when they send me to a neurologist, what are they looking for?
Dad, I have no idea right
They
now.
already said.
I mean, I got a couple ideas of what they would look
They
for.
already said I have nerve damage.
Yeah, would you like to have a seat? You're welcome to. If not, that's fine too.
I'm waiting for
Oh, you're waiting for him. Okay. Greg, thanks for playing. Yeah, absolutely. Was that helpful to see in real time, like what some of that looks like? And the changes that are possible to make?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's some cool stuff. So,
And you got to sleep while you're
yeah, right. Answering your question in terms of, we'll get to that like directly, so hang in there. Really two options, like keep doing what you're doing, get the same results, or we can try something that you literally saw in front of you, made a change neurologically, right?
Question, you're gonna get into some diet things now, or?
Yeah, very simple, don't eat junk food. I mean, like, you know, it's all the stuff that mom told you.
Then,
yeah,
for everybody,
yeah,
is the diet, what do they call it? Where you cut the sugar and use like
there. No worries.
stevia leaf.
Yeah.
Stevia leaf stuff.
Stevia is okay. So, like, here's the thing: if you can do lean meats, veggies, fruits,
Sure.
like it's not impossible.
Well, if you're diabetic, you don't have any choice. Most of the
You gotta
things
cut
that
that
are
out
out
anyway.
there, you have to cut out anyway,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Exactly.
And not just sugar. Just like sugar is not really the cause of diabetes.
Right.
Right.
What you're saying,
makes it work.
there's a
It
difference.
drains the battery quicker.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So great question. And diet's not unimportant by any stretch.
I was thinking keto, it just can't.
Yeah, keto, right? Yeah. So some people need the keto, but I typically find with neuropathy, unless you are significantly diabetic, keto is not required to make that improve.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Yep.
Just eat your vegetables like your mom.
No, I like vegetables.
Right. Yeah.
I love
Sort of
meat.
that simple.
Me too, me too.
Common question we get: how do I know if I qualify? We do our assessment, figure it out. Right, we go through all the pieces. That's simple. How long does it typically take? The assessment's about an hour, and then healing times vary depending on how much nerve damage is there. So that's again variable depending on the amount of damage. Can be, if it's severe, it can take up to 2 years to get full resolution. Typically, we don't need to do in-office stuff for that long if you got the equipment to support it at home. Does that make sense? Insurance coverage. What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah. So just to be straight honest with you, insurance will not cover neuropathy treatment.
Right.
If there's a mechanical element where it's a disc or we could do some hands-on kind of stuff, they may cover a little bit. But generally speaking, they're not going to be paying for neuropathy reversal.
Is it expensive?
Great question. That's usually an equity. It's like, well, what would investment be to get this back, right? So again, depends on the severity of damage and how many complicating factors. So if you got a back problem and you got arch problems and you got diabetes and right, then that's going to be a more involved care plan. If we're just dealing with, I say just, but we're just dealing with blood sugar, that's a whole lot simpler to work on than all the other complicating factors. So to give you a specific is challenging because everybody is different, like Deb said, or if you deal with stroke, that's a whole different ballpark thing, right? So there's a lot of variability. But I want to be as honest as we can with that. Averages, I would say, if we're talking about nerve damage scale, you got mild, moderate, severe, and like permanent nerve damage. Plan on roughly 6,000 to 8,000 for each level of damage there is. Those are kind of averages we see. We've got a bunch of different ways to make that affordable and doable for people. Commonly, care plans can range in even $400 to $500 a month or less, depending on what's going on. I'm risking mentioning numbers because that's going to stick in your head, right? And it might be more or less than that, but I'm trying to just be honest with you and tell you averages. Okay. Here's the bottom line. If we are able to support you, we're going to find a way to make that work. Okay, like we'll do everything we possibly can to get you some support, depending on whatever funds are available for you. Okay, so just know that. So those are the super common questions we get. Here's our process. My promise is, again, this too. If we're unable to support you or help you with your core reasons why you have neuropathy, we're going to refer you to somebody that is going to give you some more support. So no matter what, next step should be win-win. And that's my promise. I don't feel like it shouldn't need to be a promise, but we like to treat people like people. And like, oh yeah, I can help you with this, or no, I can't help you with this. We're going to send you somewhere else. So that's our promise to you. So our process, is that okay? I can share that with you. It's a pretty simple next steps. You good with that? Okay. So we do our, like I said, we listen. Step one, figure out what's going on. Consultation, figure out your health history and your struggles and what your goals are. If you're like, hey, I want to run a marathon, that's a different care plan than I just want to be able to walk and go up the steps, right? So we can figure out what that looks like, or sleep better, whatever that is. We do our comprehensive neurological exam, all the basics. We do balance coordination testing, similar to what we did for Greg, although we actually have a force plate that will measure and give you a fall risk. We can actually digitally check your fall risk and kind of watch that improve along the way. We do our muscle strength testing and our 16-point sensory exam to determine how much sensory loss is there. Okay, so we go over that information. We do our thermal diagnostics, checking your blood flow. What are the good colors?
Red and white.
Yeah, red and white. So if you have anything less than that, we know there's some blood flow challenges that are developing. We do a microcirculation test. This looks like a pulse ox that goes on your finger. In about 5 minutes, we get a report that looks like this. If your peripheral blood flow elasticity is low, we need it better than normal. We need it up in the good. Okay, and then we'll see down here too, arterial tightening, if you will. If you're a type 5, I'm sending you to cardiology because that's when they're going to start to see it in their standard tests. That's when the bigger pipes are problematic. Typically, we'll see type 3 or 4. I've had people come in with quad bypasses and they're a type 4. So, we don't play with this one. If it's a high number, we really take that into consideration.
They put something on each one of my big toes, the heart doctor did.
Mm-hmm.
And they never told me what it was for, but they just clamped them on my toe, left them on there.
Yeah, they're looking typically in that one for oxygenation, which is a different kind of screening. So that's all our advanced diagnostics together. And then what we do is we get all the information together, and then as a team, we go over this. You're getting more than one doc on this. You're getting really the whole team. And then we go over and we go, okay, are you in acute, moderate, and severe? That's going to let us know healing times. We kind of talked about that. Acute, we can usually get done in 3 to 6 months. If it's more severe, it can be up to 12, 18, 24 months. And we can kind of figure out what that looks like. You can graph of that on your second visit. We invite anybody that's part of your healthcare team to be a part of those visits with you because you get way more value out of it. If you're like me, I'm a bad historian, so my wife comes along, she's like, what about this, what about that, right? So you just get way more information and support when you got that team. So thanks for being here, Marie. Yeah, really, really helpful. We go over that. We go over your customized care plan into reversing this stuff, not just like managing it, but like actually reverse it. And go over your financial options as well. Okay? So all that together, the value is $875. Which I had one test done over Holy Spirit. They did a ultrasound for my throat, my thyroid, my voice stuff. One test, no doctor visit. What was that? It was about $1,000, like 9 something for one test. So hopefully, we're providing more value in 2 visits at $875. But here's what I understand: I know insurance isn't going to pick it up, right? And so we want to make that as easy as possible. But what I do know is, like for Greg, the people that take action actually see changes. So we're going to encourage you with a couple of gifts. All right, so if you choose to move forward with us, we're going to give you a fast pain or numb away treatment. That might look like the foot bath, or might look like we have a variety of things we would need to do for that. Typically, this is what we use. And then the other we're going to give you is 25 anti-inflammatory recipes. So you can start winning with neuropathy right now, get that inflammation down. Okay? So we put those in the mix. We're at $945 for the value. But everything we're doing, because you guys showed up on a beautiful Tuesday evening here, spent some time with us and learned, we're going to do all that for $147. Because this is Freedom Month, right? For Freedom from Neuropathy is actually the title of my book that's coming out. And so it's just to encourage you with that. What's the downside in figuring out how bad this is and what options we have in front of us? All right, so that's my offer for you guys. We can't do this for everybody, obviously, but you showed up here, you spent time with us, learned, and I want to encourage you guys in that direction. So here's how you take advantage of that. It makes sense for you. The next step is going to be Aaron's got some appointment times first available at the front desk. If you're like, hey, yeah, let's figure this out. So we'll collect the 147, hold your spot, get you all the information you need, get the recipes to you, and we'll just get you rolling. Okay? Kind of that simple. If you have specific questions you want to have answered, I'll be here for a couple minutes.
Okay.
Happy to talk to you. For those of you that want to schedule or you need to get somewhere else, by all means, feel free to do that. Did you learn something valuable today? Saw something cool. That was pretty fun to see Greg improve. Yeah. So from the bottom of my heart, thanks for being here. Truly, it's a joy to be able to share this with you.
Any limited time for the
Limited time for that? Should be limited to like this week.
just the week?
No, I'm playing with you. No, if you're like, hey, I need some time to figure out my schedule or I'm traveling or whatever, and you're like, yo, seminar, we're gonna support you. So yeah, you showed up here today, we're gonna make that work. It's not like, oh, you can only do it today. We're not that kind of. We don't do that. Yeah, is that helpful? Yeah, certainly. Now, obviously, if those appointment spots fill up, we can't keep offering that. But yeah, if you're like, hey, after the appointment, we can make one happen. We're gonna do that for you. Okay. Yeah, certainly.
So should I wait till I see my neurologist?
What do you think?
I'm tired of feeling numb. One time my whole face was numb and they found out I had sepsis.
Wow.
I was in the gym.
That's a big deal.
I was in doing classes and I'm like, my whole face is numb. Just like I was sitting taking a phone class and I said to my friend, hey, I'll see you later. I just had a stroke. I gotta go up.
Oh my goodness.
And I got in my car and went up to urgent care. The doctor said, don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, so I can't answer that question for you, but I would say I would get help sooner than later. If you've had a stroke, your nerves get a lot of help.
Hey, should she stop this?
I would say absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Come on, we're gonna put her on the spot.
Yeah. So it's fun. You're here to start healing, right? It starts with that. Throw that in the garbage.
Yes.
Yeah. Not anymore, you don't.
Sorry about that.
No, you're not.
That's great.
He meant everything he said.
I'm talking about me
Sure.
too.
But
So
I
can
mean,
we share with our physicians what we're doing?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm more than happy to share that information. In fact, we typically write a letter and say, here's what we found, and here's a program we're doing, and absolutely. Yeah. If you're the kind of person that likes to read and do research, I've got 150 pages. If you want all the research, I'll send you that link, and you can thumb through that and take that wherever you want. Okay, yeah, it's like the research is all there. Yep, absolutely. But here's what I commonly find. Most MDs that I've interacted with on this, like, if it works, great. They don't want to do much with it. If they're weighing in on the therapies, they literally don't treat neuropathy other than medication, so they have no idea what we're actually trying to accomplish with it. The only hiccup might be if there's a cardiology thing and there's a wire in there. We got to be careful what technology we use, but that's we find that in the office anyway. So I don't discourage it in the weeds. I just say, like, doing this for almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
I've had one doc say, "What are you doing? That's awesome." The rest are either
Not good.
they're like, yeah, or they, for whatever reason, want to discourage it, and they have literally no other options for the patient. Like, I don't understand that one at all. That just seems like malpractice to me. But they didn't ask.
I guess I was asking more from, so I'm a type 2 diabetic.
Okay.
I take gabapentin
Oh yeah.
and a lot of it. And as this progresses, this therapy, I need to back off on my medication. How is that?
Yeah, so great question. And so we're not we can need the provider that prescribe it, right? Because that's outside my scope to change medications. So we work a lot of type 2 diabetics. That's not an issue at all. And typically, as you're going off gabapentin, no one cares about that. It's if you need to change insulin or other medications for that. That's where we need to be a little more mindful and connected with the provider. Yeah, but that's not on our side. That's usually not an issue. I haven't really run into that at all. And typically, when the docs see, oh, the lab work's looking better and things, they want it back up anyway. So it's not like that's never a conflict.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Yeah.
Yeah, my doctor and my podiatrist never mentioned the word neuropathy.
Okay.
I came here because I see it on the internet.
Yeah, so maybe they missed it. I don't know. And if you don't have it, we'll tell you that too. You don't have neuropathy, you have something else. And if we don't specialize in that, we're going to get you in good hands.
You mentioned,
We're gonna write this out for you now, and I'll receive it where, when you come to your
in my case, I find the cold helps more than heat.
Yeah, so when cold helps better, when cold helps anything more, it's typically inflammatory. Right? There's inflammation, the cold is calming down the fire. And so we have to figure out what's driving the fire, what's making it on fire.
If I understood what the 147 is for the radiation.
Right.
Okay. Is there any other therapy that 147? Any therapy?
Yeah, so with that one, the gift is we do a treatment, and that's part of the second visit, but we know which one's best for you. So it might be lights, it might be the foot bath. We got options to choose from. It's included in that package for you. So it was 2 visits and a treatment in that same. Yeah, and the recipes. Right? We're really trying to boost you in the right direction everywhere we can. Yeah, good question.
Thank you.
Any other questions I can answer for? It's like,
The reason I asked for that is because when I asked my heart doctor why he thinks everything's done, he said he was really good.
okay.
Feel better.
Yeah.
I want to do it as much as I can, but I'm not so good. I had very sudden leukemia, was supposed to die in 3 months,
Wow.
and God told me to take my healing.
That's right.
And the
There
doctor
you go.
said, whatever it takes to get you through
Thank you.
in
I'm gonna
3
sign
months. And I've been alive 9 years.
Wow.
And I quit my treatment
Thank you.
because
You're
I
welcome.
went down to John Hopkins for crown treatment.
Let's get that
And
figured
then
out.
he sent me
Huh?
the head
What's
for another
outside?
one
Get
that
that figured out.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
I'm gonna see a neurologist first,
Okay. And then.
then see what happens.
All right.
You're here for
Yeah.
a
We're
reason.
gonna have this
God has
all.
Or
Send
feel free to
you
use
over.
it.
And then.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay.
Yes.
But I
Did that. Yeah. Okay.
thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here.
Nice meeting you.
You too. See that.
I called my brother. Number one.
All right, Gene.
What about your HEM or PEM? What is it?
Yeah, PEMF.
Yeah. Is that what that is?
That's what, this is a core unit. And then, I'll show you real quick on the other one
Take the
here.
computer off.
I'm gonna use the other guy, so
Okay,
zap
good.
it.
Don't kill another computer.
No, we don't do that.
No. So
So I,
Or you can give him shock therapy, that's it.
yeah. That was really good.
oh, all right.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to take a?
No, you're good. We'll just go with your hand and show you, like, so,
Oh, okay. Oh, that does it. I could take it. Okay.
it does. Put your hand in between there. Feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so typically on the foot, you can have a seam well, check it on there. Whoops. That's okay. You feel that on the foot?
No, probably the shoes.
Not usually.
I know I would feel it. I feel a little
A
bit.
little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to take the shoe off,
Oh, good.
that's usually not the problem.
Do it on my
Because the
leg,
magnet isn't going to be affected by the shoe.
do it on my leg, see if I can.
Not yet. No way. But yours, we need to do more assessment before I start playing with you.
I don't feel mine.
Yeah, no.
All right.
It's not the shoe.
No,
That's a nerve problem, buddy.
it is in there. I knew that. I know that.
Yep.
Because,
The badness coming out.
see, I gotta
The
watch.
badness coming.
When I go out in the backyard and do this yard work and stuff, I watch this. It'll roll. My ankles will roll. And that's why I'm trying on socks, and different shoes, because I had excellent, I wouldn't be, I was construction, so I could go up on 30-foot ladder.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to go up a ladder, any ladder right now. No way.
No.
And so,
You
I
got
run
some
barefooted all the time.
huh?
I run barefooted all the time. I
Yeah,
hate shoes.
those tailbone
Well,
injuries.
barefoot's actually good for you. You're grounding, you're getting grounded. Grounding's good too.
Yeah.
You can feel, I can feel the ground stuff out, you know what I mean, when I'm walking. I can walk on the stones, it don't bother me.
Oh, okay. I
I've
mean,
done it since I was a kid.
yeah,
No need to change it, 72.
no. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
See, you and I came in, like, believe it or not, that guy's on GPS. It would bring me down around there and then up here, and it said turn to the next road. Well, there wasn't another road.
Yeah, that's-
Oh, really?
So then
I
it
parked
would.
up a block up there and just
Uh-huh.
walked down, because that's what it did with me. It said,
Really?
turn
So
back
then it
this
would
road and then you go around again.
Well, then if you go around again, that said turn to the next road.
Yeah.
And there was no next road.
No,
Okay.
turn left at the next road. But
Yeah,
That is
turn,
new.
I've
turn,
never heard that before.
Yeah.
Were you
See,
using
because of the-
Google Maps?
there was no, yeah.
Yeah.
There was no
Yeah,
road to turn
They
on.
must have updated the
So
system.
then it would make me turn left and come
Is this
back
the first
around
we've ever
again.
had that?
Yeah, it's,
And it said, yeah, it said turn right or something, and
Yeah,
said,
at the road down here. We're,
and then it says, your place is on the
I'll
left.
get on, I'll record it.
So there's no road.
yeah.
We'll go.
Well, I figured
Okay.
I had to be close, so I just went to
I
it.
went over to Progressive, I had.
Well, we're glad you
I
named
went
it.
over there, and they told me no.
okay.
I got tired going
Thank you.
down
And,
the.
and those tailbone injuries, they're tough.
Yes. Yes.
One of our mentors, he developed a technique that we do because his wife had a tailbone injury.
Mm.
Similar to yours. Literally, he developed a whole neurological technique based on wanting to help his wife.
Yeah.
So
How long did it take him to get around out of it?
he had to develop a whole technique, so it took him 5 years.
Oh.
If you were to do it again, it would take a few months, 3 to 6 months for his wife. But he would be doing it every day for her.
I guess these are your quick answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, the fact that you can't feel that lucidity, that's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's,
I don't like it at all.
no.
Thank you for
I mean,
coming out with that,
I
So,
Not so long ago, I was playing with my grandkids. I got 10 grandkids.
Wow.
Or taking a walk, a hike
Yeah.
on a trail.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on a trail right now. I'm not ready for it.
No.
I'm not afraid, but I mean, I'm thinking
Yeah.
your ankle, you feel kind of like, what's wrong?
Uh-huh.
Like old came on quick,
Yeah.
you know? It did.
Well, it's not old. It's a
Well,
neurological
no, I
injury.
mean, like old
Yeah.
coming. I mean, I'm 70, I'll be 73 soon.
Okay.
So,
No, that's
I'm in not
That's
bad
all.
shape, but
That's, yeah.
yeah. No, you're in great shape for 73. It's
Yeah.
just that nerve injury.
yeah,
It's
but
slowing
never, I
everything
want to
down.
get back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, you still have
I
life
don't
to
want to
live.
give up here.
Yeah, you still have life to
That's,
live.
that's just silly.
Those grandkids need their grandfather. Seriously, man. That's,
Well, I was kind of put to shame, not really ashamed myself. My mom came up from Florida. There, and her boyfriend, a friend, he's 90, right? Pretty good shape.
Yeah.
He went through some crazy stuff. He had cancer twice,
Yeah.
and he beat it, and he's healthy. He's healthy.
Yeah.
Well, I told him I can get it upstairs, but I'm gonna struggle because I have to really use my hand on the rail to get moving. This here wasn't working. The power wasn't.
Yeah.
Stuff there
Yeah.
And all that. He picks up and goes upstairs. 9 years old.
Yeah.
It's nothing for the man to.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I mean, I'm literally was embarrassing myself. Because I was, it
He
wasn't,
only did cancer twice. He's not dealing with a nerve injury.
well, no, he knew that. But it's just that it wasn't a contest or anything. I just said, man, I don't know what it is, but it's, but he knew what. He didn't feel. Well, maybe it made him feel better. I hope it did. Your son can't help you.
Yeah. Well, it's for you to
My
see.
mom is 94
Yeah.
this August, so,
Mhm.
I
There's options.
I'm looking for getting better, that's all.
Yeah.
So this, I can make it open like maybe, around early, this is a good time for me. Can I go 2 weeks or so?
Yeah.
Well,
Huh?
well, 2 weeks from now.
Or so.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks. Yeah, we're not in a rush.
I don't want to be from somebody else.
And then any other like documents that you have, yeah, you have it, that would be great.
Cheers. I know you were saying about the sweet.
We'll send you a link here shortly. Okay? Yes, you're all set. Yeah, absolutely. All right. You guys, we have your
We might as well for right about 2 weeks.
Or so. Yeah. Excuse me.
Okay. Yes, so either 9 AM, 10 AM, 2 PM. That is a Thursday. Following week. So you'll take the pain, the patient form. You just have a little bit of history. Sure. The double package of this. Okay.
Bye, everybody.